Hey, welcome everybody. Our question today, and if you're watching this on the replay, do you think your attitude and your perspective affect the money you're making in your trucking business today? Answer that question down below. We're going to be right back and we're going to talk about that very thing. Stay tuned.
Paying too much for trucking insurance? What if you could save more by making one simple phone call and keep more profit? You could very well do just that with one simple call to Seabright Agency, 800-366-6466. Call now.
Now here's a question that all owner-operators and small fleet owners should consider. What happens when you access the unrivaled advantages that are available through the ES Advantage program? We asked Jeff and Charlie from Contractor's Corner to share their thoughts on how they've been able to utilize the discounts and services that are a part of the ES Advantage.
Your business will make you money if you do well at that business. And ES Advantage in trucking, they do really well at providing those services. So the effect that ES has had on our personal trucking operations, not even talking about what we do on the consulting arena, I've been able to save thousands of dollars a year in fuel because of the relationship with them. I have a new accountant that I work with, trucker CFO, that I learned about from ES Advantage.
They're giving you that 10,000 yard kind of support from behind that creates a way for you to succeed, which is one of the things that we love, because anything you can do to help someone succeed is going to help them succeed. They make money by making sure you make money.
Now, if you're an owner-operator or small fleet owner and you would like to learn more about how you can drive savings to the bottom line of your business, the ES Advantage program has the discounts and services that deliver the kind of unrivaled advantages that are designed to help you improve your overall operation. Get connected with the ES Advantage today.
Get connected with the ES Advantage today. Love that dude. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, man.
You made it. Y'all should have seen it like
Testing my speakers.
Right?
They seem to be working fine.
StreamYard. That thing is great. Hey, everybody. What the heck's going on? Let's see. James was, not James, excuse me. Craig Hutchinson. First post right there. Trophy squirrel. Just saying.
What?
Trophy squirrel. Hey, Charley for president. Sean Sherman.
Oh,
dude, I'm telling you, the world will be under an EMP right then and there. I will EMP the world. We will roll back into the Stone Ages, and I will be happy. Many people will not be happy. Just saying. Timothy Ransom's all up in here. James Vaughn said howdy, howdy. Jonah Green, good evening. Donna was in here before Jeff. Just saying. Bear Hunter, whatever, dude. No, I don't want to hear it. Trucker Dan, what's up, buddy? Hey, Dan. Oh, Mike Henderson, good to see you. What do you say here? For most drivers, yes. For me, no. All I do is work. It doesn't matter how I feel. I work through cancer. I don't know any other way to work. Bro, I've had appendicitis since August 11th. Haven't had my appendix out. I have to go get my this is really exciting. I have to start my cleansing tonight for my IMAX Chucky butthole experience that comes on Thursday morning. Really looking forward to that. I think we're going to do a live show for that event and just let everybody enjoy the beauty of my insides from the backside in. What? No, maybe. You know what? I bet Trucker McFly Rabbit would like to watch that show. Huh? Yeah. You got me, don't you, brother? I know you got my back. People want to see my guts. I'm pretty sure someone wants to see my... Or wait, they hate my guts.
That's probably closer.
There could be some that just may be that way after today.
We could put it on pay-per-view. Will Charlie's guts explode and all the haters will pay for it? Because they want to know. Ooh, yeah.
Ooh, that could be cool.
Yeah.
Let me get a paid event. I'm just saying that might be interesting. I don't know about you guys. But yeah, so how are you guys doing today, man? I hope everybody's doing well. Jeff has been struggling with interwebs all day. It's been pretty funny. Donna was like, I could almost hear her pulling hair out today, trying to get some stuff done. And It's whatever. It's
Yeah.
it's a day.
Yeah, we have that thing on the phone that tells us, "Oh, your internet is out." And we're like, "No
Right.
kidding, really?"
Yeah, I love that stuff. Oh my God. Live on 18 wheels. I didn't mean to skip you, buddy. I see you over there waving your what's up, man? Oh Lord. So today we have I think we have an interesting topic, and it was spurred by many different Facebook groups and posts. It's all about your attitude and your perspective, and how does that affect your day-to-day business and your earning potential one way or the other. Whatever, man. I don't believe you guys. We don't want to see your guts, Charlie. Craig said, no guts, poop.
He's
Oh my
saying
God.
you don't have any, Charlie. That sounds like he's calling you out to me.
I got guts, bro. I'm going to show them to you. Craig, I'm sending you private pictures, bro. What?
OnlyFans, what?
That's what? Oh,
That hasn't come up in a month.
There's a market for that right there. I know it is. It's out there because there's a creep show for everybody out there. I'm just saying. But yeah, so attitude and perspective. But you know what we could do first? Let me throw this little banner up here, and we could talk about this week's national averages because it's like gone down, and it's kind of a bummer, and it made me a little sad. Because let me do this. Wait, let me hit that button. Let me hit this button. I'm gonna hit present, share screen. Why does it make me hit it twice? I don't like that. I'm like, I already hit the button, share screen. So the U.S. average went down almost 10 cents, 9.5 cents this week, y'all.
Yeah.
I'm a little sad. In fact, everything went down. I called Jeff the other day and I told him, or yesterday, I'm like, I think judging by what I'm seeing in my area, we're going to see a drop this week. I didn't think it was going to be 10 cents. I thought maybe 5 or 6. But I guess it makes sense.
I've been down since last, what was it, Wednesday, Charlie?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been down. Maintenance, older truck
maintenance.
But
good
yeah, I mean, had to be done. Still cheaper than getting a new truck.
I was gonna say, and it wasn't $8,000 worth of repairs like we initially thought it could be.
No. I mean, we could go into that real quick before we
Right.
get into Charlie wanting to rant here.
Let's do this real quick. The pad 5 went down also about 9.5 cents. So if you are booking freight in certain areas and you're out there on your own numbers and negotiating rates, you might want to keep track of these things. You guys out there on the Swifts, your fuel surcharge this week is 0.541. The West Coast is 0.17. We're going to get rid of that and talk about Jeff's maintenance because this was like a thing. Like he had a minor panic attack and had to start going into contingency planning. What if, because I will in my cooling? No, and it's legit.
Not really a panic attack. This happens when you have an older truck at least a couple times a year.
It gives me a panic attack every time I went with Chewy when I had to do that. I was like, oh God. But I liked it.
So doing my pre-trip, minding my own business, and I'm like, oh, that coolant looks a little like blood and not cherry juice.
Right.
And so I had oil in it, and I'm like, ah, shoot. So I started looking into all the things it could be. It could be just a head gasket. It could be this. It could be that. Kind of worst case scenario is cracked head, and that would have cost about $8,000 all in to get that done. So still, not an engine, right? But still, that's a lot of money, guys. And you know how freight's been, so you kind of worry about it a little bit. But it ended up. So here's what it ended up being. I don't know if I actually told you, Charlie, but it was the gasket on the block for the water pump.
Did anybody else see the way he gestured that? Just saying.
The water pump. It was about that big.
Okay.
That's all it was. Like. So it ended up costing me $2,500 for that repair instead of $8,000. So I'm feeling pretty good today. Pretty darn good, actually.
Right.
And don't tell Dana this, Charlie, but the truck's done. Shh. I don't want to go back to work.
You kind of already committed to being off a certain amount of days anyhow because of the truck work. So I'd say go with it and just do that, man.
Well, yeah, they told Freightliner told me it was going to be a week, so that's what I figured, and that would be up on Friday. So I'm just gonna go with that. I mean,
you should fly out here and come to my Thursday appointment, bro.
No,
hold my hand and make eye contact with me while it happens.
So I can either do that, or I can buy a camera.
Oh, buy the camera. That's probably.
So,
funny.
yeah. Mark Olinger,
Holy crap.
1 So yeah, part of
Sorry.
this does go into what we're going to talk about today, though. So I called Charley up because he's kind of my coach, and I'm kind of his coach. And I'm like, so what do we do if I can't afford the repair? What if it's like a $20,000 repair? It could be, right? You don't know.
It happens.
So, I already started looking for a new truck, started that process, because it's like what happened with you at Chewy, Charley. You had bad time followed by a major
Right.
repair.
Yeah.
What were you going to do?
Yep.
So the point is, I want to stay in business. It could look impossible, but I just want to stay in business, man.
Right.
So if it came down to it, I was in contact with Michelle Cantrell, and I told her I want a Freightliner with a DD15, not a Cummins, and a D12 transmission. That's what I want.
Right.
She's like, all right, I'll look for one for you just in case. But I already had that ball rolling. I already have my, $2,500 in the bank or whatever they want. I've got that. All these things, my focus, and Charley can be my witness here. How do I stay in business if the truck is just dead?
Right.
The thought of going back company or getting another job didn't even register in my mind. Not an option. Not for me.
I thought about being a manho once.
Well, there was a dude on that other group that said he was going to go to sell his thing.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. That was
fun. But yeah, so that when we talk about mindset, one of the first things is, are you all in? Are you actually committed to this thing? I mean, Charley, are things great right now?
No.
I mean,
Hey,
people are having a tough time, and we see people on the Facebooks, not just in our group, but in other groups, many groups. They're just like, take my keys, I'm done. And that's legitimate, man. If you're not all in, right?
Yeah.
Are you going to make fun of someone doing that, Charley?
No. Maybe. Could be. Probably. I don't even know what to say right now because you know what? I'm going to be like, okay, it'll probably be in private. It won't be open because, I don't want to hurt someone's feelings too much. But so this is what spurred this week. There were many different posts in the Facebooks, as we like to refer to them. And one in particular just kind of tickled my butt with a feather. How's that? That was not the right phrasing, but you know what I'm saying. It got me going, and
a little windy.
It got me going to the point where I decided that I am not being true to myself, because my response to several of these posts would have been, "What the hell is wrong with you? Stop thinking like a company driver and quit complaining about things you can control. If you're going to complain about it, do something about it. Put that effort into actually doing something." So one of the posts was, talking about how, and I'm not going to name people because honestly, I don't remember who it was, but even if I could, I wouldn't. But the post was talking about, well, they said we can no longer get an empty trailer attached to us unless we have a pre-plan. Well, you know what? I didn't like that person's answer on the phone. This is how I would have handled this very thing rather than the way they handled it. I would have said, okay, I don't like your answer. I hear what you're saying. I think you're wrong. Can I speak to your supervisor? Or I would have simply hung up, called back, and got a different ECT person. And I would have done that several times if need be. And if I couldn't get someone, I would have asked for a supervisor. There's a supervisor on. They may not be in that same building as that person, but there's one on in Memphis or Phoenix or someplace. And they have access to them. And you may have to wait on hold for a while to get that, but you could get that person. And I don't care if it's on the weekend or not. So, if you're letting someone on the phone, and I'm not trying to cut on the ECT people. A lot of those people are new. Some are not. Some of them are very new and don't actually know what's going on. And if there's something you need done, because look, we can't reposition ourselves even in an authorized repo to a new market without taking a trailer with us out of that market. That is straight up policy. They have said that time and time again. So How can you not attach a trailer to me if I'm going to repo myself to a different market? You can't. It doesn't work. And if they
Right.
do that, then they're breaching contracts because now they're controlling my business. They're saying I can't go to Dallas from El Paso because they won't give me a trailer, because when I get to Dallas, they're going to say, go back to El Paso and get a trailer. What good is that? They can't do that. That's a breach. So quit being a little whiny punk. Yep. That's how you got to be. Start taking control of your business. Be in business. Run your business. Start acting like it and quit acting like you're a company driver, because it's not doing you any good. So if you change your attitude and someone says, hey, you can't have that empty trailer attached to you because you don't have a pre-plan, you can simply say, like I said, I hear what you're saying. I don't agree with you, and I'd like to speak to a supervisor.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to get into a pissing contest with them. Just simply ask to speak to a supervisor. Oh, there's not one on. Yeah, there is. There's one on somewhere. Can you please find them? And if they say there is nobody on that's a supervisor, say, okay, can I have your name? And I'll be marking this phone call down at the time that I called, where you told me there was no supervisor anywhere in the Swiss system. And run your business. And if that doesn't work, call back. There's more ECT people. The same one won't answer. And if they do, just hang up on them. Try again. Doesn't seem very hard to me. But instead, what many people are doing is they're getting on Facebook and they're like, oh my God, this guy told me this and it sucks and I hate it and I'm not doing anything about it. I'm just going to complain about it on Facebook. And Jeff will put this a much better way, because he's a far more tactful person than I am. But you know what? I'm kind of over it right now, because there's an awful lot of crying over things that people could control, but they're not taking the time to take control of their business and run their business. Change your attitude. It will change your perspective. Swift is not your bank. They are not your employer. They're your customer. Change your perspective. Change your attitude. They don't owe you jack. Why do you keep expecting them to give you bonuses and gifts and all these things? And you get mad because they give the company drivers a fuel bonus. They give the company drivers this bonus or that bonus. Go be a company driver. I mean,
that is a legitimate choice.
Yeah. You want all these things, go do that. No offense, but Jeff and I take a lot of phone calls, and there are some people, and Alexia, that that would say things like, hey, I'm going to go do this thing. I know it's just fun. I can't help it. She hates me anyhow. What am I worried about?
She doesn't hate me, though.
Well, that's you. Good for you, brother. You talk to her. She don't want to talk to me. She's pretty much made that clear, and we're gold. Anyhow, so, but that person would call and say, hey, I'm going to do this thing. And I'm like, that's a bad idea. This bad thing's going to happen. This bad thing's going to happen. This bad thing's going to happen. Oh, okay. And then they go and do it. And then they call back a week later. Oh my God, this is stupid. These 3 bad things happen. I'm like, I told you it was going to happen. Wait, there's more. Because then, in the case of this hypothetical Alexia person, they went back and did the same thing 3 times. 4 times.
4 now.
4 times. The same thing. And want to get mad because the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different outcome. Insanity. Stupidity.
Right.
You want to argue? You want to fight? Type it up. Let's go.
Well, and so Donna and I, we had to go to the DMV today.
Oh,
because it's that time of year for Jeff, time for the annual DOT physical that he may or may not pass because of the diabetes.
Hey, pull your mic just off just a little bit. There you go.
Better?
Yeah.
Okay. And here's the thing is, in Utah, I don't know about other states. This was not the case in Oregon. In Utah, you can go on the website and make an appointment. So my appointment was at 10 a.m. We show up and we Utah is kind of funky too because it's not actually the DMV. They have a separate DMV and a separate licensing commission.
Right.
So you got to figure out which room you need to be in first of all. So I went and asked the helpful person that they all have, "Am I in the right place?" She's like, "Yes." "The line's really long. Do you have an appointment?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I have an appointment." And I tell you what, the line for the non-appointment people was out the door. Out the door. The guy at the front of the non-appointment line was still there when I was done and on my way out because they were bringing the appointment people up first, right? And Dawn and I got talking about this, not bagging on people, but we were wondering, were those people in that long, long line ignorant or just stupid? Ignorance, I can forgive to a point. If you're ignorant, I can come in to your life and say, "Hey, you don't know this thing. I do know this thing. Let me teach you." Stupid is when you know the thing and don't do the thing.
Stupid is as stupid does.
Right. So, we were talking about this. I mean, Charlie, do you want to spend all doggone day at DMV?
Hell no.
I guarantee you these people from about the middle of the line back probably did.
Oh, Lord.
Because you go on the website and they have appointments like every 10, 15 minutes.
Right.
And those of us that had appointments, we showed up like 10 minutes before our appointment. We just got in and got our business done and left.
Mr. Morton, please come this way.
Yes.
They're like, the dude just walked in.
Yeah.
And they're oblivious to it, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, so that's my question is, are you ignorant? Because if you're ignorant, Charlie and I,
we can teach that.
We can teach you. We can help you. If you don't like Charlie and I, that's fine. There's other people.
Right. There's plenty out here.
There's plenty of people out here teaching people how to do better at business. We just like doing it, so we do it. But yeah, if you're ignorant on something, please educate yourself. If you can't figure out why your fuel is so much more expensive than my fuel, is it out of ignorance, or do you know about alternate fuel purchasing methods and just not doing it? And this is the time. Yes, I'm going to mention ESA because that's the card we like. It's the one I use, right?
I love you, Mark.
Yeah, whatever. You know what I meant, Mark Ollinger.
Oh, that's the man right there. For all those of you who don't know, that dude runs nothing but super heavy freight. Well, super heavy for Swift, so he's maxed out gross all the time. Still does decent on fuel mileage, but is still making money every single week. Not going to out him where he's at. You've heard me talk about it before. If he wants to talk about it, that's on him. But what he's doing is he runs nothing but heavy freight. And we got all these people out there talking about, I want to make money, but I ain't going to pull anything over 35,000 pounds. And I'm not going to go west of the Rockies. And I'm not going to go east of I-35. And I'm not going to go north of I-70. And I'm not going south of I-40. Now, that would be dumb, but whatever. But whatever. And they put all these limitations on why they're things they won't do. And yet, they're pissed. They can't make any money because now they've given themselves a freight window that's like a postage stamp.
Yep.
So I've come to a point recently where I've been trying to be a little more professional with people, right? And it's frustrating the crap out of me. It has absolutely driven me nuts lately. And to the point where it's affecting my ability to help people do better. I'm going to tell you right now that if you call me and we have a conversation, many of you have had these conversations with me one-on-one, and I've been very blunt, very frank about my opinion, and I'll explain to you exactly. Yeah.
And the Army comes out.
Oh, yeah, it does. And I will tell you exactly why I feel this way and lay out numbers and where my justification is. And it's not always a pleasant conversation. Sean, Bear Hunter, can tell you, we've had these conversations. He is very clearly aware of what he could be doing differently to make more money. He's not willing to do those things and willing to accept where he's at doing what he's doing. Nothing wrong with that. I'm not going to knock the guy. I just like picking on him because we're buddies. That's all that is. It's just fun. But you come to us and you ask questions, we give you advice and you do the opposite. And then you call back and you're like, bro, I don't know why this didn't work. And we're like, we told you exactly why it wouldn't work. I mean, you know, use the experience you have in the groups that we have, in the private Facebook group for Contractors Corner, in the private community that we have. We have these resources here for you guys. Don't find the mistakes that we made and then go out and make those same mistakes thinking it's going to be different.
Sue, you're my hero.
Boat, 2 trucks, love those people, whatever. Wait. We can talk about World War III. I'll come back to it, I promise. I got some things we can talk about that for sure. I'm not afraid of it. Look, somebody said Charley for president earlier, Wimpy McPote, and I said I'm going to drop EMPs all around the world. I don't want to nuke the world. I want to just shut us all down, put us back in the Stone Age. I dig it. Won't need fuel. Screw fuel. Don't need it. Don't need to worry about it. Just saying. But yeah, so it all comes down to your attitude and your perspective. Are you willing to learn? Do you want to learn? Or do you just say you want to learn? But then when someone gives you, you know, real world 15, 17 years worth of experience, we've done those things in the way you're talking about doing and can tell you exactly why it's not going to work. And you do it anyhow, I'm going to tell you the exact same thing next time you call me. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. We told you this was going to happen. You're an idiot. Now, do you want to fix that and actually do something about it? Or do you just want to keep doing it? If you just want to keep doing it, fine, do it. But don't call me and bitch about it because I don't want to hear it anymore. Time is money, y'all. You know,
Charley Mahon, everyone.
Everybody, woo! I'm on fire today. I've been a little pent up and
oh yes,
yeah, I like it, man. And you know, I just been, I don't know, man. I just felt like I was stifling myself for no reason, and it's just weird. And I don't think that I've been fair to you guys in some of the advice I've given because I just haven't been as blunt and frank, and I think you've taken some of it wrong. And now we're just going to try and clear those things up. And if I say something you don't like, ask Jeff. Talk to him. He'll be nicer to you, probably. Maybe.
Well, I just say things differently. And that's the thing, guys. You know, when you're looking for an education, it is important to reach out to the person that you will actually listen to. You know, there's this thing in the Facebook universe that's just baffled Charley and I for the last 2 years. I'll say something. I'll give some advice on the Facebooks, and then frickin' the trolls just come out of the woodwork and say, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You this, you that." And then Charley will come in, and a little bit of Army still lives in Charley, and he's like, "No, you're an idiot. This is the way it is. F this, F that, whatever." And they're like, "Oh, Charley, you're a genius. That Jeff guy's an idiot." You know what though? The advice itself was the same, like identical.
Presentation, perspective,
right?
Attitude. Holy crap! We wrapped that up right there.
Yeah.
Well played, sir. That was great, Jeff.
Yeah.
I like that, man. That's why we keep you around, bro. See, you fix things. Charley goes off and pisses off everybody, and Jeff's like, "Oh, let me make it better." And oh my God, people are better again.
Oh, dude, I've got all sorts of stuff that I've learned over the last month, and I need a whiteboard so I can do Google.
Just use your wall, dude. It's like a whiteboard behind you. It'll be fine. Donna won't mind.
I think Donna just paused doing the.
Don't make eye contact. Don't make eye contact.
So yeah, I mean, basically, so what we try to do. So if you just visualize this, because I don't have the fancy whiteboards and stuff, but you know, you're going along on your path. You want to start your business, and we 100% agree that business is the way to go. And then you're going to hit this little pitfall, and thanks. But one of the things that Charley and I learned a long time ago is there's people that have already been in that pit. So there's absolutely no reason for us to stay down there in that pit. You know, for me, it was Kevin Rutherford. Back in the mid 2000s when I started out, he had already gone through a lot of the pitfalls that I was facing. You know, we had that Great Recession, Charley.
Right.
And listening to him and the solutions that he figured out the last time it happened kept me in business during that time. So I didn't have to go in that pit. He built a bridge for me. So I just did what he said, and lo and behold, another decade later, I'm still in business.
Right.
Because I listened to a guy that had already been through it.
Nobody's thriving right now that I know of. I mean, there's very few. I mean, you'll get a great week and you're like, whoa, I'm on top of the world. And next week you're like, oh, crap.
Yeah, right now it's weird. We were talking about this on a couple of Facebook groups this week. Guys are having like a 3,000-mile week followed by an 800-mile week.
Right.
Followed by an 1,800-mile week, followed by a 2,500-mile week. It's all over the board, man. And it seems to depend on where you land on that last load. So I think it's more important now to get with your OOCs. And if you're one of our followers that is out there on your road doing what they call real business, when you take those loads from your brokers or whatever, what's on the other end? Is what you made on this load going to pay for that deadhead you're likely to have out of Florida up to Atlanta? Or are you going to take it in the shorts out of Florida up to Atlanta and make the decision of, hey, well, at least it pays for fuel and gets me into a better market, right?
That's
4,000 miles this week. Too bad 2,000 was
right. I feel you, man. I feel you.
But I'm experiencing that too. Like I had a really great week a couple of weeks ago, 2,800 miles. The next week was 1,200.
Right.
This last week was 2,500, and now I'm in the shop.
Yeah, last week was 3,800 or 3,900 for us on target, which is a decent week for us on target for 5 days. And then this week we did 2,800. That's a big difference in that bottom line number. I can assure you that, because I'm not getting that exponential on the end of the mileage thing, where it starts ticking into that big. Oh man, I was doing great on fuel all week. I mean, I was well over 9 all week, at the 9 or above 9 all week long, except for the last day. I was in a hurry. I drove 70 home.
Yeah, we talked about that at the time. You were like, I just want to go home.
I just wanted to go home, man. God, I was killing myself. I was just dying, but whatever. But I knew what it was costing me. I'm over 10 now by the time I got to the house on that thing, but I would have been over 11.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, they're perspective and attitude. I just think that, the wrong attitude and the wrong perspective are going to cost you not just money, but your business and your independence.
Mm-hmm.
With the right attitude and perspective, I'm not going to say you can thrive right now, but you could damn sure do all right. You could do okay in one of the toughest markets we've ever seen. In fact, it is the toughest market that I've ever known.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like the market itself is similar to 2008, 2009, but that didn't last 18, 24 months.
Right.
That's the thing, is that Charley and I both thought when this started, we're like, oh, we've been through this before. But man, it's dragging, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is dragging. And there's probably some reasons for it. If you watched our interview with Adam and Jim on the YouTubes, we talked about that a little bit. Was that part of I haven't watched it in a week. So did we actually bring that up during the interview, the whole financing of trucks and how everybody's upside down on trucks and the banks don't want them back?
Yeah, we talked about that.
One of the things that happened in 2008 was massive amount of people just put their authorities on hold and went to work for people like Swift. Well, right now, what happened is during that big boom around 2020 into 2021, the spot market rates were insane, like $4 or $5 a mile there for a while. So a bunch of people went out and leveraged, based on that market, trucks, which did what to the truck prices? They went up. So now these guys paid literally $250,000 for a $185,000 truck. Totally upside down. The banks are like, yeah, we don't want it back. You need to just keep working.
Right. They're like, but.
Yeah. So, That goes into, again, with your mindset, being a business owner, do your due diligence when you make a decision. I mean, it's no secret that Charley and I are always out there looking, who's got a better deal than Swift.
Right.
We're still here. That's an indicator, by the way. We're still here at Swift. But we do look, and we're thinking about, okay, how long is it going to take me to build the relationships over at that other carrier? How long until I can get that? And I'll bring up Landstar because I always bring up Landstar. Landstar has $4 freight. They absolutely have $4 freight. Am I going to get that if I go to Landstar next week? Absolutely not. I mean, even if it does show up on the load board, by the time I figure out it's there, that broker has already called his favorite people and said, hey, you want this load? And it's gone. Those relationships are what the business is built on. And so that's one of the things we look at.
So, Wimpy McPote, can we create a trucking company with part-time truck rental? I just want to drive part-time. Why should we need to stay out months at a time to just make truck payments? You shouldn't. If that's not what you want to do, don't do that.
Yeah.
And you could be part-time. I mean, Swift hires casual drivers that only work a couple days a week or a few days a month even. I know there's some Walmart accounts out there that have casual day cab drivers. I mean, come on. There are ways. Hey, why don't you start that company? That sounds like a fine business that might work. It might be an interesting model. Get someone out there to back you. If you can't front the whole thing, get out there and talk to some people. I mean, it's a possibility. Seems like it might be an interesting model to look at. I don't know how profitable it could be, but it's definitely something you could try. I mean, nobody's forcing any of us to be out here doing anything. I choose to do this. I choose to be out and make these truck payments and things like that. I mean, hell, go pay for a truck. Buy a truck, cash. Lease it on somewhere that'll take an old truck.
And
no truck payment.
I'll tell you, there's 2 carriers I know of that do that. Landstar, of course. All they care about is that it passes DOT. That's really all they care about. And from what I'm finding out, Panther's another one that'll take an older truck. So, I mean, Swift will take an older truck, guys, if you didn't know that already. It's got to pass DOT, and you got to convince Mr. Brett Stewart that you're actually going to work more than 1 day a week.
And you have the money to do an in-frame.
Prepare it. Yeah.
They
want to see, some cash in your account.
And a recent in-frame or having the ability to do it if it comes up.
Yeah, and there's reasons for that I don't know that we need to go into. Well,
right.
I will.
Well, yeah.
Well, I will. Yeah. So Swift actually had a deal years ago, not too long ago, I don't think, but there was a deal that they made. If you brought an outside truck, if you bring an outside truck into Swift that's older, they would do the in-frame for you and bankroll it. What ended up happening is enough people came in and took that deal and then never hauled a Swift load and just left.
And never paid for it.
And never paid for it. So you want to know why
is all get out.
Sugar Daddy Swift doesn't exist anymore like it used to? That's why.
Those assholes.
People weren't paying their bills.
So Mark Ollinger, just wanted to share 2 weeks ago, I had big repairs and was doing what Jeff was contemplating. The good news is it was covered under warranty. Yeah. Mark had all kinds of stuff going on, like a transmission that needed to be replaced possibly and all this other stuff. And it was like, I mean, there was serious thought that you have to put into that. And we talked for a good while about it and it all worked out. I mean, it ended up being warranty work and things like that. But I mean, they told him ahead of time, if this condition isn't met, if this condition isn't met, we're not going to honor the warranty. We're going to void it, which of course tightened me up. I mean, I'm like, damn, okay. I mean, that's what warranties are looking for. They're looking for a reason not to pay it. Let's just be real.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we found out Mark's experience is why we found out stuff about the warranty, that we brought up last week. Was his experience with that. And he's like, dude, did you know this? Did you know that? We're like, no, we didn't know that.
Wimpy McPote, I pay thousands a year in car insurance and home insurance, and I'm never there. Do you own your home? If you're never there, I'd sell it.
Yeah, as far as cars, we have just basic liability on our paid for car.
Go out for 2 years without having any of those payments. If you're not using it, why are you paying for it? I mean, I get it. I mean, if you got someone at home, then that's different. If you're single or your spouse or significant other is riding with you, your llama, whatever, I don't care. Hell, get rid of the house. Get
Yeah,
out there
especially
and
if you've
save
got
up for 2 years.
if you got equity in it, even CDs right now, certificates of deposit are above 5% now.
Hell, sell the house, invest it in a good used truck, go out and run 2 years solid, and then pay cash for your next house on a big chunk of land and still have a paid for truck. I don't know.
I had a student years ago that he came to Swift, went through the academy, got on my truck, empty nester. His last kid had just left. So they were running a really nice thing, really nice spread out somewhere in Washington. I can't remember where. But they decided to just pack everything up out of that house. They put it in their toy hauler, put the toy hauler in storage, and wife came on the truck with them. And 2 years later, they paid cash for 2 acres in Castle Rock, Washington. And a year later, they built their house.
Right?
Cash. So, if you have that longer outlook of things like that don't seem like such a burden. If you got
Attitude and
that goal,
perspective.
if you've got that long-term goal of, hey, I'm going to do this thing. In 5 years, I want to have this, and work towards that every single day.
Right? Remind yourself, refresh yourself on that. Keep those things going. Hey, I want to go back to something Andrew brought up because I think this is kind of crazy. Andrew said, need some advice, guys. I was on Walmart out of Arcadia, never signed the contract, but got terminated today by Arcadia terminal leader for job performance. No terminal will take me, even Ocala. My next step is turning the truck according to rapid emplacement. I don't
understand that.
There's got to be more, bro. There's got to be more. We got to talk.
Yeah, there's some things that we can work through if we have more information, I think.
Yeah, I think we need to talk on the phone, man, soon. Yeah, for real. But yeah, I can talk to some people, but I need your express written permission to do so. Jeff and I would both need that for us to reach out very specifically about certain things. So you would need to reach out to Jeff and I directly. Hit me up in PM or Jeff in PM, and we'll give you an email address, and you can email us there. And yeah, let's get deeper into that because that's gnarly, and I can't believe that's a thing. Ooh. Well, okay. Wimpy said, bring home items one at a time. After 10 years, you're considered a hoarder. I have 8 classic cars sitting in my driveway, not willing to sell my stuff. So you have 8 cars. I get it. Okay, that's legit. 4 more years and I'm retiring, going home to smoke weed.
That's legit.
I wish I could. God, Lord. I wish I could. I'd be a much more mellow person. Jeff could attest to that, I'm sure. He'd be like, oh, yeah, he needs to smoke weed. Many people who know me in my IRL, in real life, know that I should probably be puff, give, yo. Just saying. Chewing on gummies all day long. But, they won't let me. Damn CDL. Whatever. But I mean, those are choices, though, right? I mean, you're not willing to get rid of the 8 cars. That's cool. Put them in storage. Do you need the house? I mean, I'm really questioning. Do you need the house? Is it paid off? What are the cars worth, man? I mean, I don't know. Trade one of those for a big truck. I don't know. With no payment. I mean, there's lots of things you could do, but you're stating you're not willing to do those things. But there are ways you could make those changes. You just don't want to do that, and that's fine. But What are you willing to do? You know? Going back to Andrew, Craig said, terminals at their discretion don't have to take you based on safety scores, smart drive scores, on-time record, etc. From what I understand, I mean, there's a lot of things that are there, and without knowing your personal stuff, and I mean, there's a lot in the background that maybe you don't want to air here, and that's cool. We get it. I mean, I don't blame you, but I think that we need more information because I don't think the whole story is here. Bro, 2 house payments, 3 car payments. Why? I mean, and you're mad because you got it. Dude, like for real, okay? This is one of those things. This is one of my points. You have 2 house payments, 3 car payments. That's $3,200 right there, and you're pissed off because you might have to stay out to make your truck payment. I don't get it. Let's just be real. I mean, if you're not willing to do anything about it.
So I'm going to bring Sean into this because he's in a similar boat. Boat, literally.
Boat. My bad.
And we do give Sean some raspberries, but here's something about him. When he calls us and what he generally talks to me about anyway is, okay, is this contract working for me? He knows his obligations. He knows what he did. Putting himself in debt like that. What he's concerned about is, okay, is this contract that he's still running Hobby Lobby, I think.
Yeah.
Is it going to pay these bills? That's what his concern is. He's not complaining that he got himself in debt. He did that. He owns it 100%.
Right.
His concern is, okay, now that I have this, and he wants to retire within a reasonable time frame. And what we talk about is, how does he get out of that debt so he can retire? Making double payments when he can, running that extra mileage when he can, and that's a big difference in attitude, I think.
You got something to say about this? How much income needed to qualify for a mortgage or a car loan? It's outrageous. How about if you sold those 8 classic cars and you sold those 2 houses and you went out and you ran for the next 3 years solid in a truck that's paid for and had no bills at all to pay except your truck note? Oh, wait, because you paid cash for your truck, so you don't have a truck note. So you're making nothing but profit other than maintenance and fuel. How much money would you have in your bank to go out and pay cash for the things that you want?
Right.
You don't need 8 cars. You know that. You want 8 cars. That's different.
Mm-hmm.
You can't drive 8 cars.
I mean, my profit on my truck is a steady $1.02 a mile on a paid for truck. And that's what Charlie and I call Jeff math. What Jeff math is, the profits for the week, the way it reads in the settlement, amount due owner. So my maintenance is already taken out of that. So
Right.
that Jeff math is $1.02 a mile. That's the paid for truck. My mortgage and all that stuff is pretty spendy on my house. I got a $2,000 a month mortgage, but I also have 3 kids that need taken care of still at the house. So doing what Charlie's suggesting is not something I can do. If the kids weren't here, I could put my wife on the truck, not have a house payment, and by the time I'm ready to retire in a few years, I could just drop cash on a little place somewhere.
Wimpy McPote, man with a million excuses. You are living up to your name right now, sir. Man with a million excuses. Some idiot would total out my truck the first day. I'm a lifetime loser. Well, that's why we have insurance for.
If you have Seabright, you'll have another new truck within days.
Right. And you'll just replace that truck and go on about your day. And with the right insurance coverage, you're not even going to lose out very much because you'll have business operating expenses built into your insurance. You'll have all these other things built into the back end.
Right.
And
so I've looked at that myself with my paid for truck, right? If someone were to total my truck out, it's valued at about $40,000. That's that would give me a half down payment on another truck, making my payments less than your car payment for the truck.
or replace a like kind truck.
Yeah, let's be
But
real. I'd go get something a little
right.
newer.
But I mean, it's the possibility is there. It's an
Right.
option. It's something you could do,
Right.
and have a completely paid for truck yet again.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
So nice, But you say you have black clouds falling your whole life. I get that, and it seems like that for a lot of people sometimes. But you know what? I've seen some awful, shitty people do really, really damn well.
Yeah.
I don't know why do they do it? How do they do it? Oh, they just keep plugging away at it.
Yep.
May not like them.
We sound like a broken record here, but why do you do what you do? Why?
Yeah, for real.
Do you actually have a do you have a deep why that makes you cry? And I haven't told Charley this yet, but I was involved in some things over the weekend, and they got deep into your why. It was a business thing,
right?
And by the time that this guy was, it was Dean Graziosi, if anybody knows who that is. By the time they got done with me, I was all like, that's
Right.
my why. I'm a bad person. That's why.
Sons of bitches.
But it just solidified what I do, both with the trucking and with Charley and with you guys. It kind of breathed some new life into me, to go through that painful, actually going down into, no, you say that's your why, but what's your real why?
Right.
And if you get down to that, dude, you will do anything for that why. My truck's done and I don't want to go to work, but my wife says I have to.
Right.
So yeah, this mindset thing, it's a big deal.
It really is. And a new Toyota Tacoma, rock chip in the windshield, under 1,000 miles. I don't even see it as an issue. You know why? Because it wouldn't bother me at all. It's a rock chip. I got insurance for that. Covers that. We're good to go. Doesn't even cost me anything. Just saying. I'm in Florida. I don't know.
Yeah.
You can never have anything nice.
Hey man. Hey, Charley,
Bro.
how many kids do I have now? I forget.
11.
Yeah. You want to talk about not being able to have nice things,
right?
I cannot have furniture made out of wood because it'll just get destroyed. I can't have anything.
I have dogs that are known for destroying anything that's wood. They'll go chew on a tree. There's something wrong with these dogs.
Wow.
Yeah, Cane Corsos are known for just being wood destroyers. Like they'll just start gnawing on a damn tree trunk, and you're like, "What is wrong with you?" And they're like, "Oh my god!" So don't have wood legs on your house in your house and stuff like that, because yeah, it's over.
Yeah,
I get rid of. He said he'd get rid of the wife before the car, bro. You know what? Wives are expensive. I don't know.
Yeah, divorce is more expensive though.
Exactly. I'm just saying. Oh,
30 D's done dirt cheap. Yeah.
See, now you're just trying to get punched in the head. Someone's going to find you someday and punch you in the head for that statement. I'm going to put it up just because the best woman is a quiet woman and they don't exist. Oh my God. The best woman is a woman with an opinion that is not afraid to share that opinion and will stand up and back up that opinion. And you know what? Is open to
and will still make you a sandwich.
Right. Oh, we're in trouble.
Dawn is overdoing dishes right now and she does not look amused.
Thank the Lord. I mean,
she's listening to you, Charley. So
yeah, so pillow therapy tonight. That's probably true, Lisa. I don't know. Maybe I'll get lucky and Rosie's messing with the kids right now and didn't actually catch that, and we'll be all right. I'm just saying. But yeah, I mean, again, it's attitude and perspective, Mr. McPote. I'm just saying, attitude and perspective. I think that attitude and perspective could change a lot of things for you. But as what you said is, it's you don't want to make those changes. So then it's keep beating your head against the same table and see if you still get the same bump over and over and over. I mean, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but it's reality. You're not willing to make those changes. I mean, there are things you could change that might help you do better, but you don't want to do that. Mike Anderson, I'd put my bad luck in life up against anyone, but I still make good money. I fight every day to get past to get past my past bad luck and future bad luck. Right? Right?
Yeah.
Just new ways to move on. Perspective, attitude.
Yeah, one of the things that I like to tell people, and Charlie, I talk about this quite a bit too. There's things in life that you can control, and there's things that you cannot. If you can't
Right.
control it, I mean, why are you trying to? You can't control what they're doing in Washington. Someone mentioned World War III, so I'll bring it up. You can't control what they're doing in Israel right now. That is completely out of your control. So just work on the things that you can control.
Right. Be ready for the EMP. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm hoping for it. You guys don't understand. You think I'm kidding? You guys don't understand. Maybe I'll regret it when it happens because I believe it'll happen someday. But when the world goes dark because we all EMP'd everybody or there's a bunch of nukes that went off, I mean, yeah, people are going to die and it's sad and I get it. Hopefully I'm not one because I think that I'll do okay if I can make it through that. I'm just saying people around me probably do all right. Just saying. People I know, people in my life, we know how to live, know how to get by, have contingency plans. Just saying. I can't control whether or not they're going to send a nuke. I can't control what I'm going to do if I survive that nuke. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. Exactly, Ken. When it all hits the fan, I think I'm ready. Anybody doesn't know? SHTF, when shit hits the fan. I'll say it. What? Bleep. Whatever. Let's see. T. Sabrin, what's up, buddy? By the way, I saw you earlier. I didn't say your name. I apologize. Just living in America makes us better than 75% of the world. Does it? I don't know. I think my country is pretty awesome. I love my country. I'm not saying I'm better than anybody else. I don't like to think that I'm better than other people. I think it's would be arrogant, and I don't tend to think of myself as an arrogant person. I think people live different experiences and people make choices. Those who make shitty choices tend to have bad things happen.
Bad juju.
Sometimes, I get what you're saying, though. I do. I understand what you're saying. I just think I'll say it. I think our president's hurting us right now. Damn it, I lost half the audience, Jeff.
You did. I'm going to lose another. I'm going to lose another half of that half though, because I'm just going to say it. From my perspective, I absolutely feel blessed to live in this country.
Absolutely.
But I don't hate, the French and how they live.
Right.
The Saudis, whoever, that's their deal. That's their thing. I live here, and I'm glad I do. For all I know, though, if I had been born somewhere else, I would love that place too, because it's your culture. It's your there's differences in culture. I mean,
Donna, I love that.
Oh, yeah.
I used to say when excrement hits the oscillator. That is a smart man. I like that dude. I you know what? I bet he and I could have grooved on things to say. It would have been weird, but yeah, I'm just saying. I dig people like that. I've had people like that in my life that they make you think about what they just said.
So this is a man, by the way, that was in the Navy for 20 years and never went to sea.
That's impressive.
He got smart and got himself attached to the Marine Corps Air Wing in somewhere. I can't remember where. But once he started with the Marine Air Division, he just stayed there all 20 years.
Millions of Chinese soldiers parachuting in from the sky. Good thing we have guns. Lots of ammo.
Well,
just saying. Red Dawn, bro. You don't even understand. I look at movies like that and I'm like, oh, that would be cool. I get people die. It happens. Whatever. You know what I mean? Maybe it's me. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Maybe it's one of you. I don't know. I'll be sad if it's one of you. But you know what? We're going to keep on going. We're going to keep doing our thing, and we're going to fight back because that's what we do. Don't care who the president is. I don't care who the president is. The president does not make the country. The country makes the country. And how we deal with our hardships and our misgivings and our mistakes makes us what we are. We as a people, we as individuals. I can control me. I can't control Jeff. I'm going to try and live my best life. I'm going to try and live the best way that I can and be a good person and help those I can help. So attitude and perspective is where it all comes back to. Yet again, one time more. Pow. What do you think about that, Jeff?
Oh, are you done?
I apologize, sir.
I squirreled there
My
for a
buddy.
second.
My buddy. Matt, I appreciate what you said there, buddy. Charlie and Jeff, I do appreciate all the advice and wisdom you both have imparted on me to help keep me going, especially when things are foobar. I love that word. I am still going as a contractor because of y'all. Thank you, and I'm glad. And you know we are here for you, brother. And even though I don't call you back when I'm supposed to,
He doesn't even call me back half the time. He'll be like, "Hey, I'll call you back. My daughter's calling." And then like the next day, I'm like, "Did you forget about me?" He's like, "Yes."
right? Mark Olinger, if this helps, I'm always planning. When I'm 67, 4 years, my wife and I are taking Social Security and still working until we're 70. The house, cars, miscellaneous debt will be gone. I'm constantly evaluating. Yeah, Mark and I have talked about this a lot, actually. Anyone who's never spoken to Mark Olinger on the phone, I recommend doing it, but you need to have time. Love this guy, but I don't think Mark and I have ever had a phone conversation that is less than 2 hours. I mean, I would consider a 2-hour conversation with Mark very short, and I would feel like I got cheated.
Yeah.
Love that dude. We will talk about everything in a single conversation that goes on for 3 hours, and I dig it. So Mark, don't take that the wrong way. I love the time we talk on the phone. I absolutely enjoy our conversations because we don't just talk trucking. We talk about life and the world and how our businesses play into these things.
Mm-hmm.
And then we talk about family and his grandkids, and his grandkids are awesome. I'm just saying. Oh, Lord. Who's going to defend the U.S.? What's this? Who's going to defend the USA when half the population is immigrants? I believe you are... I think that statement is completely screwed up because I believe when the bullets start flying, those who want to be here are going to fight to be here. Those who don't, well, they can bounce, yo. And I think that they will, or they'll get cut down like chaff, right? Just saying.
Yeah.
See, you're trying to make this something that I don't believe it is. I mean, and look, you know, it kind of goes with the rest of your outlook, your attitude, and your perspective. I'm just saying, man, you know, maybe you're just digging at us, and that's cool. I mean, whatever. Sometimes you just want to be contrary, and that's fine. I mean, I get it. Sometimes I do that to Jeff just for fun. But you know what? I just think that, you know, if you want to continue on in this type of view of everything that you look at, there's everybody here, I believe, can see the pattern here. Everything is doom and gloom. Everything is bad. None of it's your fault. And there's nothing you can do about any of it because you're not willing to do anything for it. Run for office. You ever run for office? Do you go to city council meetings? Do you go to county seat meetings? Do you participate in your state government in any way, shape, or form? Do you speak to your congressmen, your representatives? I don't know. And I'm not trying to poke at you. I'm going to call complete bullshit on this. Immigrants today don't assimilate like the Poles, Italians, Irish, etc. Yes or no? No, I believe you're wrong. I think you're throwing out blanket statements that are absolute crap.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I will challenge it this way, McPote. When you're walking down the street and say Phoenix is a good place because there's a lot of illegals. I'm just going to say it. Illegal immigrants there. Point them out. Point them out.
Yeah.
Can you tell who they are by looking at them? No? That means they're integrated. So, you know, I come from Portland, Oregon, where there's a very large population of Russians, Ukrainians, you know, people from the old Soviet Union. And you know what? In their neighborhood, the signs are in Russian.
Right.
I love my Russian friends. These people, and Charlie, I've talked about it Russians are either your best friend or your worst enemy. There's no two ways about it. My Russian friends, they will literally just like, oh, you need some help? I'll be there tomorrow. You know, um, but man, do they stick to themselves? They came here legally. Did they integrate? If that's your real concern.
This is a
So-
fabulous statement right here. I talked to my congressmen and senators. I wrote to them recently to try and persuade them to vote no on speed limiters. I'm with
Excellent.
you. Did the same
Excellent.
thing. I was going to do a little video, which I failed to do. Maybe I'll do it this week. But I mean, other people have done it, but you know, I think maybe I'll give my spin on some things. You know, you've heard kind of our argument about speed limiters. I don't want it. I drive 60 miles an hour almost every day. But I don't want speed limiters because it's not because I don't want people to drive slow or fast or whatever. It's because I don't want any more regulation. We got enough regulation. Don't need any more. Don't need anyone else in my pocket. Don't need anyone else in my truck telling me do this, do that. What's next? So yes, you know what? And you know what, Sue? Politics. Let's get back to trucking. That's what I think I just did right there. But it is politics and trucking. So I apologize, but it's there. I think sometimes there is that overlap. We tend not to. We try not to talk politics, direct politics, because again, we're gonna lose half the audience whether we pick one side or the other. And I don't even have to pick a side. I can make vague statements in the middle and piss everybody off. Let's just be real.
Yeah.
But I just, I don't know, man. I just think that there's a lot of stuff that people are complaining about. One, you can't change it, or two, you won't change it, even if you could,
Right.
because you're not willing to do anything to make changes. And that's true in politics. That's true in your world. That's true in your life. That's true in your business.
Yep. And
And
you know, Sue,
it's
to be
frustrating.
fair, Charlie did go into the weeds a little bit here. I'll
Yeah, I
agree with you on that.
apologize,
But usually when we bring up politics, it has to do with our business, speed limiters. If we had been on the air back in the day when they were still debating ELDs, we would have had an opinion on that too.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, things that I think you need to pay enough attention to be able to prepare for what might be coming down the pipe. That's, you know, so you didn't know me when I was like, the only thing I listened to on the XM radio was Road Dog for Kevin Rutherford, the left wing talk show hosts, and the right wing talk show hosts. That's all I listened to. And boy, Donna will tell you, I was more of an angry person when I was doing that. And over the last little while, I've just stopped paying attention to most of it. I look for what affects me. I pay attention to that.
Once again, attitude, perspective.
Right.
I'm going to keep hammering this in today, you guys. You know, I'm not going to apologize for it. Attitude and perspective. What can you change? What can you do? Why are you looking at it this way when maybe you could look at it another way?
Yeah.
Hey, Mark Ollinger. Hey, Sue. We're still planning to be in Ocala over Thanksgiving unless my grandson is in the Indiana State Football Championship. Awesome.
Oh, yeah. And
just being-
Mark, I'm just going to put this out there. We are loving your posts about your grandson.
For real.
That does my heart good.
I dig it. I love you, man. The stories he tells, that's some of the stuff we talk about. It's amazing. Trucker Dan, I drive 63 for fuel economy. Amen, brother.
Yeah.
I'm
I'm interested to know, Trucker Dan, do you have a Freightliner or a Kenworth?
And then driving with Bob, I only drive 62 miles per hour for fuel economy. What are you driving? I think those are important questions.
Yeah.
Because
what we've noticed, one of the things we've noticed as we've worked with people is that the Freightliners like to live around that 60, 62.
Yep.
The Kenworths like to live closer to the 63, 64, 65 miles per hour. It's just a difference in gearing and where your, what do you call it, Charlie? I always screw it up. The mechanical advantage is
right
in your gearing. And then you got people with crazy gears like Bear Hunter that drives 70 and gets great fuel mileage. And
if he slows down, yeah. Oh my God.
Goes to the crap. And we're just like, okay, we need to figure out what this gear ratio is because that's crazy. That's only the second one, Charlie, that we've seen like that. There was that one lady out of West Valley that had a truck like that. And it was just like, wow, you know. That's crazy.
2018 Freightliner 62 is definitely a sweet spot.
Okay. Yeah, I've got a
And-
16, and mine likes to live in that 60, 62. If I get above 62, I start definitely dropping on the fuel mileage, though.
Craig's truck loves 63 to 66, depending on weight. Not going to knock that, but these are. I mean, I don't know Trucker Dan to the point where we talk about his fuel mileage and things like that. I mean, Dan and I have talked off and on here and there. Driving with Bob, I don't know that name. Actually, wait, I do remember that name. You yelled at me a bunch of times. That's cool.
You have that effect on people.
No. It was a while back. Driving with Bob was feeding me just a ration of stuff, and that's fine. Whatever, man. I ain't bringing up old stuff. I don't care. It ducks off water off a duck's back, right? But I don't know these guys. Yeah, we're gonna get a video of those ducks eating. That's the next epic feature from Jeff. We're anxiously awaiting this extravaganza. But yeah, I mean, if see, look, I was right. That's cool. No, hey, look, man, I don't hold anything. I mean, you could be mad at me today. Whatever, man. I mean, you know, we're on here. We're a couple of guys, people talking, and we don't have to agree on things. And
I like to say it the way it is, Charlie, on this one. We're two jackasses on YouTube.
What? But yeah, so I don't know how you guys are driving your truck or tracking your fuel mileage. Craig, I know for a fact, tracks the hell out of his fuel mileage. And when he says my truck likes 63 to 66, depending on the weight, I know that he knows that for an absolute fact.
Yep.
Because I promise you, he's done it at 60, he's done it at 61, 62, over similar loads and similar terrain, weather, conditions, the whole 9 yards, because he's batshit crazy like Jeff and I.
And I'll just put this out there since we're talking about it. If you guys want to actually figure out where your truck likes to live, 30-day increments of speed. So just do what you're doing right now for the next 30 days and track the fuel mileage like you've never tracked before.
Right.
We recommend using fuel gauges, which is Kevin Rutherford's free fuel mileage thing, which right now you have to use it by going to his website, letstruck.com, because the app is not updated for the new Android version. So you're going to have to go out on his website to do it. It's free. But start tracking with that and do a couple of things. Bounce that number against what your dash says and see if there's a difference.
Right.
The more accurate one should be the fuel gauges because it's really good. We like it.
And life on 18 wheels. So I've been driving at 65 lately, at least on the instant fuel economy. It's showing I'm doing a lot better.
Okay.
Kenworth? Freightliner. I can't remember.
And then, do what you're doing for 30 days. And if you're one of those 70-mile-an-hour guys, slow down to 65 for month number 2.
And look, this is legit right here. I go 70 miles an hour and get 8.4 in my 2004 Kenworth. You'll never get me to slow down. I would rather get the extra hour rest. Hey, not going to knock it. It's cool. You know that if you were to slow down and increase that fuel mileage by 1 mile per gallon, what that would do to your bottom line. The extra hour of rest every day is more important and more valuable to you. By all means, man, knock yourself out. Just, I'm sure you know that you could get better and do better.
I would encourage you, though, Mike, to consider the current freight market. Do you need to go 70 miles an hour to make that load? Or could you still get rest and maybe it takes you another 2 hours to get to your destination and you roll that into the next day? So you could kind of do both if you change your thinking a little bit on that.
And this is a true statement because this falls back into physics. And I still want to reach out to Neil deGrasse Tyson because I want to get Neil deGrasse Tyson on the show to talk about physics in trucking because I think that would be a phenomenal conversation. And I would just really like to talk to that guy.
I just want Neil deGrasse Tyson to laugh at us because we don't know what we're talking about.
Right.
Because he's a master.
I would totally be down with that.
Because the way he does it, he's like, well, you're not really understanding. Let me explain it this way. That's what he does with people, and it's amazing.
Right? Life on 18 wheels in a Freightliner. Okay. Says he's doing better at 65 than he is at 60. I don't know. I mean, look, if you're tracking that, I would track it for real, not just the dash. Just because. Wimpy said, just use the trip computer in your truck. You'll never 100% duplicate the weight and terrain every month or week. No, that's right. But if you're running the same types of lanes regularly, you're going to get an average over a long period of time. And that's what we're looking at. We're looking at that 30, 60, 90-day averages, and you can see a change right there. But you need as accurate numbers you can get.
That's why I say you got to do it for at least 30 days at each speed. Otherwise, you don't get a clear picture.
Yeah, and Craig's running reefer, and he's still getting great fuel mileage. And, you know, Mark Olinger is running 47,000 pounds of good God, heavy stuff. Yeah, but you know what? Nobody gives a crap about fuel economy. People blow them every day, 70 and 80. I do. Yep, absolutely, I do. And you know what? I may have blown past you at 70 yesterday. I'm just saying, if you were driving down 75 yesterday, I would boom, blow your doors off. Beep, beep, watch out. I mean, I'm just saying.
But the point is, you know what it costs you.
Exactly. And I was empty, rolling downhill almost the whole way. I'm just saying.
You know, if you make the conscious choice to drive 70 because you just want to,
right?
But know what it costs you, I've really got nothing to say other than I think you could make more money.
Right. Right. Absolutely. Perspective and attitude.
And I just looked it up as a research project for our business, Charlie. There are 350,000 owner-operators, according to OIDA, in the country right now.
That sounds really low right now.
That's what they've got it at. And that includes people with their own numbers and people leased to carriers.
I think OIDA is wrong. I'm just going to throw it out there, but okay.
Maybe. But you think about that, the trucking industry, just the drivers, is the largest employer in the entire country. So you think about it this way, McFote. We are a smaller percentage of the industry as a whole. A company driver is going to go pedal to the metal everywhere they go because they don't give a crap about fuel mileage. Me as an owner operator, when I have to run my EFS card and pay for fuel, you bet your bottom dollar I care about fuel mileage. In order for me to speed up, the load has to pay. And at Swift, we have a mileage contract, so it doesn't pay.
Right.
Now, if I was out there negotiating loads, and if I had this sweet load that paid $10,000 to go 500 miles overnight, I would have my foot in that. Absolutely. That customer paid for my fuel.
Ready for some nerd numbers, Jeff?
What's that?
I told you a while back I was going to do this, and I hadn't done it. I kept putting it off and putting it off, putting it off. But I can now tell you that the lifetime average of my DEF usage in my 23 Freightliner is 172.98 miles per gallon on DEF. I have every single DEF fill that I've made on this truck since July of 22.
Nice. Yeah, I never bothered to do that. I'm glad you did. So now we can see.
Look at that.
Yeah.
30, 60, 90. It's variable, but not too variable.
Okay.
Some of the variation I can tell you is from it. It's really hard to know if your DEF tank is actually full without spilling, 3 gallons down the side.
Yeah.
So what I've done is at the QTs is my best luck for filling with DEF. They seem to have the cleanest DEF nozzles out there on the road that I can find. So
and
when
cheapest DEF.
Yeah, 329.9 since July of 22 for sure, has not changed in price since. I can show that to you in the app right down there that I got, right? But I fill it till it stops and I hang it up.
Right.
And it usually spits out one little bloop, and I have to dodge it every time. And I know it's full. That's right. Some of the pumps at Pilots or Loves or Flying J or wherever you go, you get a gallon in, it stops. You get 2 gallons in, it stops. You get another quarter gallon, it stops. I get annoyed by that, and I wait till I find a QT. I'm not going to lie. And then I fill it up. But I had a couple on here that said it was 300 miles for 300 miles per gallon. And then the next one I get is like 89 miles per gallon. So it averages out because I didn't actually fill it, but I marked it as a fill. And then the next one I filled it, but you know what I mean? So it does give you an average. Eventually it does average out to full. But I'm tracking that, and I now entered in. I did that the other night. I entered in every single DEF receipt that I have that I've put into this truck since the beginning of this truck.
Nice.
So I now have that because I want to geek out on that number.
So this is some good stuff, man. Check this out. Let me get my cursor where I can see it. So Mike Henderson, he's got a reason for what he does. Says, I work every day from El Paso and back, Midland to El Paso and back, 600 plus miles a day. I only get to shut down 8 to 10 hours a day. So slowing down costs me my small amount of rest each day. See, there you go. That is a legitimate reason. And you're probably doing better than most guys, I would venture to say, with that run. So you see, we went from, fuel mileage to, well, he's got this other concern. So that's what we're talking about, guys. Be able to express why you do what you do. My teenager's always asking me, because I'm like, why are you doing that? And she's like, well, do you have a reason for everything you do? And I'm like, well, actually, most of the time, yeah,
You're right.
I do. Everything down to the TV show I watch with my wife every night when I'm home. I do that because it's after the kids go to bed, no kids. It's time we spend together and we enjoy the show and we talk about the show. There's a reason we do that. Downtime. There's a reason she should do her homework. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
She's sitting right over there. So.
Ooh.
But of course, she's got her earbuds in, so she can't hear Dad.
Oh, that's probably good. She probably could, and she probably does hear you, and she's just ignoring you. That's fine.
Yeah, probably.
Eye roll, and she's like, But yeah, but again, I'm harping on this, and because I believe it's that important. Attitude and perspective. All of these things fall under that. How are you looking at each of these things? What is your perspective on these things? Swift is not your
daddy.
Thank you. Schneider is not your daddy. JB Hunt is not your daddy. These people are not your employer. If you are a contractor, an owner operator, they're your customer.
Mm-hmm.
That perspective alone will change things for you if you actually believe that. But you have to believe. You can't just say, oh yeah, I know they're my customer, and then treat them like you're an employee.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't work. You have to believe this person is your customer because you're going to take care of your customer. If you don't take care of your customer, you're not trying to be in business.
Yep.
Or you need to find a different customer.
And that's legit,
Nothing wrong with that. Do it with your eyes open, your ears open, your mind open. Make sure it's going to be the right thing for you. Talk to people, do research. I mean, all of these things that we do, Jeff and I researched the hell out of everything. Those of you who are around, we were doing this insurance thing. It took us months to get the insurance thing going because we were like, man, this is really important. This is a big thing for all of us. It's not just the cost. It's the service level. It's the protection. It's all these things. When we looked at the fuel card, that was a pretty easy no-brainer for us on our fuel card. Mm-hmm. Dealing with Colton Lawrence over at Trucker CFO, these are people that make sense. We've had conversations. We vet people. We want to know how things are working, and it's perspective. It's attitude. I didn't go in there and be like, all right, what the hell you got for me, Colton? Mm-hmm. Why the hell should I use you? Oh, I got a YouTube channel. You should talk to me because I want to use your service. No, man. Didn't know nothing about our YouTube channel.
I'm comfortable with telling people exactly how that went down. We got an introduction to him over a Zoom call with Colton, Jeff Reese, and us. And I told Colton, I said, well, here's how this is going to go. I'm going to engage your services. And I'm going to see how you do. And if we're happy with it, we'll let our people know. And if not, well, That's a different thing that didn't happen. So yeah, I actually worked with him for what, 3 or 4 weeks before we even went to air with his services.
Right.
So it's not, we already took, in the case of the insurance and in the case of Trucker CFO, we already took the risk and vetted these people. So, I'm willing to put my name on both of those things.
So real quick, Mark here. Hey, Charlie, the rental truck I'm getting 8.6 miles per gallon, average 63. I'm actually making more money in the rental truck with the 7 cents per mile charge. When I get my truck back, I'm not going over 65. Mark and I had a conversation. He said, I'm pretty sure I'm making more money in this rental truck because it's governed at 63. And I'm like, oh, what do you mean you think, Mark? Why don't you track that? And you know what he did? The next day he started tracking it. Hard numbers, real miles, hard numbers, real gallons. And now he has a number. And Mark was driving faster than 63 in his truck because he thought it was doing better to get those loads in. But he's seeing that he can do these loads at a slightly lesser speed and make more money overall.
Yeah.
Fan-freaking-tastic. I almost dropped it there, Jeff. It was coming. My brain locked up on me. And so, Mr. Saburn, excuse me. Driving faster gives you more miles accumulated at the end of the day, week, etc. Is driving slower saving you more than $40 a day in fuel based on 5 miles slower at 8 hours? Well, I'm going to challenge you to do something. Do the math. You come back to me with that answer. I could do the math. Jeff could do the math. Many other people in here could do the math. I challenge you to do the math. Maybe we can come back to it next week. Remind us about that next week. Hit me back with those numbers.
Yeah.
But I want you to take into consideration that driving faster wears your tires out faster than driving slower, even covering the same amount of mileage on the road. Driving faster also wears more engine parts out faster than driving the same miles at a slower speed. Love guys speeding in the winter. Love seeing them scattered across I-80. I'm not going to say I love seeing scattered across I-80, but I understand the sentiment.
And by the way, I do have an answer because I couldn't help myself.
Okay, do it.
$112 a day in fuel at you're saving a half a mile per gallon, which based on 5 miles an hour slower at 8 hours, yes, that's legit because it's about 1/10 of a mile per gallon per.
So you're saying that you'll save $112 a day in fuel versus his $40 a day for the extra mileage?
Yep.
There you go. I'll take his number.
That's based on a 500 mile day.
There you go. Craig Hutchison, driving at 63 miles per hour is less stressful on me and the truck. And they've done studies where driving slower has had lower blood pressure in people, less stress, they sleep better, they're less tired at the end of the day, and they've proven this in these studies. It's crazy.
Yeah. Not to the point that I want a speed limiter though.
Right.
Put that
no. Don't let
I think so. There's a thing with that too. I think that when people are forced to do something, that's a lot more stressful because you're spending all day going, oh, I have to drive 65 because the government says so.
Right.
Not because they want to, but because someone told them to. And that is probably more stressful, I think.
Hooded Peter Schmilt says, penny pinchers.
Absolutely.
You guys pick up pennies from the truck stop?
I do, actually.
It depends what they look like.
And not in Phoenix in the summertime, no.
Oh, good Lord. That'll screw you up.
Because Donna and I, we actually look for pennies like in the Walmart parking lot because we think it's fun to pick them up. And we were going through the parking lot in Phoenix when we were both down there. We saw a penny and she's like, going for it. I'm like, don't do that. And she's like, oh, right. It's like 118 degrees out today.
So here's a funny thing, Mr. Peter Schmilt. I'm assuming Mr. Anyhow, so I'm constantly looking for ways to save a quarter penny per mile, because when I find enough of those turn into a 1 penny per mile savings. And when I find enough of those, that turns into 10 cents a mile per savings. And 10 cents a mile over the course of my year turns into hundreds or thousands of dollars.
Yep.
Right?
Business.
I mean, one drop of water, and you pair it up with another drop of water and keep adding another drop of water and another drop of water and another drop of water. Now you got a glass, then you got a sink full, then you got a pool, then you got a lake, and then you got an ocean. I don't know. Perspective. So I mean, you could crack on us. I mean, I don't mind. I mean, people love to crack on us on stuff like this, and honestly, it really doesn't bother me. I mean, I'm in business to make money, and there are some things that I will do to make more money, and there's some things I don't want to do. I know they can make me more money, and I choose not to do some of those things, and I choose to do others. I mean, that's why I do what I do. I don't have someone telling me I have to do these things. I make that choice. I adjust my attitude and change my perspective.
Yeah,
I'm going to keep coming back to that.
I talked to
on that today.
I had conversations online with a lot of people that have their own numbers, and they talk about, the brokers this, the brokers that, and stop hauling that cheap freight, you guys. I'm like, well, let's think about this. I talked to a guy the other day, Charley. His cost of running the truck was $2 a mile. That's his cost for running the truck.
Right.
$2 a mile. That's crazy. Now, admittedly, there's the insurance costs more when you have your own numbers, this, that, the other thing, cargo insurance, all that stuff. But still, $2 a mile it costs him to run that truck down the road.
Right.
And what he was upset about was he found himself in Florida, and it's $1.80 freight last week, below his threshold for making money. And I'm like, wow, why is, and I'm not the only one that asked him either. A bunch of people came out of the woodwork. Hey, why is your cost of doing business so high?
Right.
For me, $1.80 a mile is not cheap freight. I can make really good money off of $1.80 a mile.
Right.
With the way I run my business. Other guys, that's cheap freight because their fixed costs are higher than that. You got to look at that. Right. TK in the house.
Mark. So going back to Mark, he said that he's still getting the same 4 loads in the rental truck that he was getting doing 68 and 70 in his truck. So the only thing he changed was he slowed down because he was in a different truck that wouldn't go that fast. He thought he needed to go faster, but he's doing the same amount of runs every week. So he's increased his bottom line, and all he did was move his foot back a little bit, change that button, set that cruise at a different speed. I'm just saying. I mean, look, we harp on it, we rag on it, whatever you want to say, we beat the drum, what have you. Doesn't change the fact that it's right or that it's true. Maybe you don't want to do that, but you should take that responsibility and you should take that stance. Okay, yes, I could do better if I slow down. I would make more money. I would have less wear and tear. I wouldn't go through tires as fast. Maybe I wouldn't have as many engine problems. But I don't want to. I'm going to keep driving 80 miles an hour because I want to. Just like I want a purple truck. Well, great.
I like purple.
I don't like favorite purple color. Trucks. Remind me of Barney. All I hear is, I love you. You love me. We're
Barney style.
Happy, right? Family. Then a shot rang out and Barney hit the floor. No more purple dinosaur. Woo, everybody. Oh, hey, what's up, CW? Good to see you, man.
I can absolutely control my fuel cost. That's what what we're talking about right now.
And I can absolutely control my insurance cost.
Yeah, shop around.
I reduced my insurance by well over $200 a month. I made a switch. That's control. Yeah. And fuel is not a fixed cost. That is absolutely a variable cost. So your wording is incorrect there. insurance is a fixed cost, but you can shop around because it's going to be the same week to week because you're not changing insurance companies every week. Insurance is a fixed expense. Fuel is not. Fuel is a variable.
Mm-hmm.
Your truck payment is a fixed cost on most programs. There are variable truck payments out there, and screw
but
that.
they kind of suck.
Yeah,
Maintenance, variable cost.
absolutely.
We save up, we hedge ourselves against breakdowns by saving money ahead of time, so that a single breakdown doesn't put us out of business. But we never know when that repair is going to need to happen. We know when our services need to be done every 50,000 miles.
Yeah, I know about what that's going to cost.
So we can plan for that. But like my oil in the reservoir thing, that was variable. I didn't see that coming.
How are you going to fix $6 fuel in California? I'm gonna buy it in New Mexico.
Yeah, I did. I actually just did that a few weeks ago.
I mean, what do you want here, man?
Don't buy fuel in California if you can help it.
Right? I mean,
don't go to California.
Right?
How about that? We have a choice. Swift doesn't. I will go in and talk to Jerry White when I'm in Phoenix, and I say, hey, there's this customer I know of out in Miami, Arizona. Really heavy loads, by the way. It's copper coil stuff.
Mm-hmm.
In a dry van. It's really fun. But, we're talking, 44,000 pounds of copper. And I happen to know that Swift picks up at least 5 loads a day out there. And I say, hey, Jerry, any of those Miami loads not going to California?
Right.
He says, hey, there's one going up to Ogden. You want that one? And I say, yes, sir.
There you go.
Or maybe I do one of those heavy Costco loads. Again, heavy, but not going to California.
And look, Craig, right there, Seabright, $7.89 a month, Swift, $11.0110. I control my insurance costs. There you go.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Mr. Saburn, thanks for the math. He says, because I suck at that. Factoring in miles accumulated was easier to figure out, but that's what you guys are for, right? No, we're here. We are for
what I should have done.
How to do it.
What I should have done if I was doing my job was I should have showed you how to do that math.
Right.
That's what I should have done. But my headspace is not there right now, so I just did it because Charlie and I are math geeks, and I couldn't help myself.
So here's what I am going to challenge you to do this week. I want you to reach out to Jeff this week. I want you to send him a private message and let him know you did it, and ask him to tell you how he did the math so that you can recreate that math. You can't say that you suck at math and want to be in business. We need to have some basic understanding of these things. We need to have a basic understanding of business. We don't need to know all the tax laws. That's why we hire smarter people than us. Trucker CFO, your personal CPA, whatever it is that you're paying for to get that done. That's why you're paying those people. But you need to have a basic understanding. A business owner, I believe, should be able to do every job in the company. At least have a basic understanding and be able to stumble through it at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
So do better and take some initiative and learn how to do it. You have a way to do that right now. You can reach out to Jeff and he can explain exactly how he came up with those numbers, and you will be able to recreate the very same thing. And that will help you in your business down the road.
Now I'll tell you though, and the math that I did is based on the current market. There is a break-even point and a point to where your mileage does make up for that extra cost. But we're talking about adding 600 miles plus a week to your operation. So then you've got to consider, okay, so it's paying for the fuel. That's cool. What about the wear on the tires? What about the wear on the engine? What about this? What about that? So it goes way, way deeper than just the fuel.
CW, this is a true statement, and I will back you up on the statement. Before you became a lease operator, you should have learned the costs and how to figure them as a company driver. 100%, that is absolutely true. Here's our problem. Many people did not, and they need to learn. They need help. That's why we're here.
Yep.
Right? We're not saying, oh, you should have known that and you're an idiot. We're
No.
saying you're an idiot right now, but if you're willing to learn, you won't be an idiot tomorrow.
And Mike, that is more true than I'd like to admit.
Right.
Jeff was the kid that failed math tests because he didn't show his work. So I was famously bad at math until I got to college. I mean, here's how bad it was, Charlie. And people that have been to college, you'll understand when I say this. I was in math 90 my freshman year in college. So that's like middle school math, dude.
Right.
That's the class where, okay, you did well enough on the SATs to get in, but man, your math.
Right.
And that was a self-paced course, and I blew through all 4 of those classes in one semester to get myself to where I needed to be. And it was agonizing, man. And I told my son this. You've heard me tell this story, Charlie. My son is a legitimate genius level person. He's a physics major. He wants to be a theoretical physicist, and he's smart enough to do it. In high school, he almost didn't graduate. Why? Because he thought the math classes were stupid because he knew more math than the teacher did. And I'm like, dude, you have to show them that you're smart. They're not going to believe you unless you show them.
Right. Mark Olinger, profit is attained by cutting costs and or increasing margin. You can increase margin by cutting costs. So yes, that is an absolute true statement. And that's why I'm constantly looking for those quarter pennies that Mr. Peter Schmidt was laughing at me for, and that's cool, whatever.
Well, and it's not pennies though, Peter, because, or what was his name?
Peter Schmidt.
That guy. It's not pennies though. You know, we just did the math on the slowing down 5 miles an hour. It's $117 a day. That's not pennies.
Right. So maybe you can make more as a company driver. Maybe you could.
Maybe.
I know there are companies out there where I know for a fact right now you could absolutely make more money than what I'm making as a contractor right now.
Yep.
I don't want to conform to their rules and their stuff.
Walmart is increasing their fleet right now. And everybody I know that works at Walmart makes over $120,000 a year in income. Solo. But you know what else there is about Walmart? You want to talk to your wife on the phone, you better have the truck parked. They don't care if you're on a Bluetooth or not.
Or use a second phone that they don't know about.
Shh.
Oh, I gave it the secret away. Damn it.
That whole thing where Swift won't make you chain. Yeah, that's not a thing at Walmart. They pay you
Right.
$70 to chain up a truck. So you're going to chain that truck up. Things like that. You know, the micromanaging. I'm in business because I want to be in business.
Right.
And yes, I could absolutely make more money working at Walmart. I don't want to.
Which goes directly to Jack here, who said, I put out all that money up front to make the same as a company driver. Because we love the game. Jeff will tell you he loves the game.
It's the love of the game, man. That quarter penny. I love finding that quarter penny. I'll like get home after finding one and grope the wife. That's how excited I get.
It's the control, the can I control more of my day to day? A lot of people don't believe you can do that at Swift, but I do. I do what I want to do when I want to do it.
Well,
are there times I do what I don't want to? Yeah, because I need to sometimes.
I mean, check this out, man.
But I have
a couple of years ago, I had a family emergency, and I was working the Walmart account out of Opelika, Alabama. I went to them, and I called my OOC. I said, I have an emergency. I'm going home now. Bobtail. Right. And I did. Did it affect my contract? Nope. Did it affect my employment in any way? No.
Nope.
It cost me about $600 worth of fuel to get home for that family emergency. So try that with a company.
You know, Mike Henderson, I know Swift company drivers making $100K a year. I know several.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
You know, Mr. Saburn said, I'm an owner for the freedom. I hate Big Brother looking over my shoulder. Absolutely. Yep. I don't want them telling me I can't go home today. Yeah. BS. I'm going home today. Oh, but you're in Oregon. You can't go home. You live in Florida. Watch me, man. You ain't got a load. I'm out. Bye. I just did it in September. I needed to get to Phoenix. I drove from Florida to Phoenix. Deadhead.
Yep.
No freight, couldn't get a load. It sucked. It was bad. You know what? Had priorities. I went there. I did that. Couldn't have done that as a company driver.
Yeah, I got to Ontario, California, at least, and so it was only like 340 miles for me. But yeah, I dropped that load and I called Dana and I said, "All right, I'm going to Phoenix." You know, there was no loads. All the loads were going like up to Oregon and Washington, and I needed to be in Phoenix before my wife landed there so that we could spend some time together before Driver Appreciation Week, because that was important to me.
See, it's the same job, drive 11, sleep 10, same shit, different day.
But it's not for us.
Right. It's not. I mean, it could be, again, attitude and perspective. That's kind of the theme for the day here. You know, we're talking about your attitude and your perspective. You know,
one of my activities during my pre-trip is to shop for fuel that day.
Right.
Try to find the lowest price I can in my route. You don't have to do that as a company driver. And it wouldn't benefit you anyway.
So picking up pennies, then deadhead 1,500 miles would have been cheaper to fly home and back. Actually, I made quite a good run back out of Phoenix that more than paid for my week. The amount that I was in the hole, I actually had a decent positive check following that deadhead, a week off in Phoenix. And then the first load I ran out of there, it was a load from Phoenix to Maryland, and then from Maryland to Columbus to Miami, covered all of that debt and still put money in the bank. That was enough to actually pay some stuff.
So you know, you're kind of missing part of the point too. We can do that if we want.
Right.
It's a choice. You know, we can make that choice for ourselves. We know exactly what it costs us when we do things like that.
And this is a great statement. Life on 18 wheels. Some of us do it not for what we can get out of it right now, but what we will get from it in the future. And I am 100% there. You know,
yeah, you know, when we're talking to guys that haven't signed yet, that's one of the things we talk about is, what's your 5-year plan? Because especially that first year, and Charlie can correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think he will. That first year is tough. Chances are your first year as a contractor leasing a truck, you're going to make less than you did as a company driver. That's a fair bet.
So Jack said, so when you want to blow money aimlessly, it's okay, but yet speed demons are idiots. That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is, if you're complaining because you can't make money and the price of fuel is killing you, and you're driving 80 miles an hour when you could have got to the same location doing 60 and saved 2 miles per gallon, and don't bitch about that. I'm not bitching about the fact that I deadheaded from Florida to Phoenix. I'm not. I know exactly what it cost me. I know exactly what I got out of it and how I benefited from doing what I did. It put me in a place where I needed to be for Contractor's Corner. It allowed me to be there to talk with a bunch of people that I wanted to talk to and meet new people. And then I had freight out of there that paid everything back and covered all of those costs. You know, I'm just saying, I think you're trying to twist it, and that's cool. I mean, you can be, you know, contrary again, like other people have been, and that's fine. But don't try and twist what I said, because that's not what I said. I'm saying that if you're driving fast and you can't make money, maybe you could slow down and make more money.
And again, we're talking about mindset today. This is the difference between ownership and paying for a job. If you've taken ownership, and I don't care if you're a company driver or not, take ownership of your life, man. You know, when you take ownership, things like Charlie's deadhead all the way across the country, he owns that. That makes him the owner of his life, his business, whatever. It's when you complain about it and you act like, oh, I didn't have a choice. Charlie absolutely had a choice, and he made his choice. That's ownership.
CW, I had a planner tell me she couldn't authorize me deadheading from Ohio and wanted me to stay out an extra 2 days to get me 75 miles closer to home before going home. I hope you have some more follow up to that, and I hope you're going to say that. And you know what I did? I drove my ass home.
your first word there, ha, that would be my reaction to that planner. Yeah, okay.
And she could put unauthorized deadhead on you and it costs you money. It's your dime to move yourself. Take a trailer with you every time. Just going to throw it out there.
Yeah, if you're going out of market, take a trailer.
Exactly. Driving Bob. I do it for the nookie. Whoop. I was singing that song earlier today and people were looking at me funny. I'm just going to, sorry. My bad.
So CW, man, too old for a 5-year plan. Are you going to be dead in 5 years? Is that your plan?
Well, I hope not.
I hope not.
I would be sad, bro.
I mean, if your plan is to retire in 2 years and enjoy the other 3 years of that 5 years, that's still a plan, man.
I went home after telling we were an owner operator. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the way you do it. Let's talk about this for a second, Charlie, because we're going to be working on some things around this. There's this weird thing specifically at Swift, and I don't know if it's the same at other carriers, where they will tell you that you're an owner operator when it's convenient, and yet a contractor when it's not. And this is a perfect example of that. Them trying to tell you can't deadhead home. Well, you're a contractor. No, I'm an owner operator. You can't tell me that.
Right.
They want to kind of have it both ways. And I think we need to put our foot down.
Well, she did think he said that they did think he was a company, which is funny to me, but how do they
but we've seen it with other people recently.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And that's the thing, guys, put your foot down. If you're at one of these mega carriers and they start trying to treat you like a company guy, put your foot down. Let them know, well, I'm an owner operator. And if they come back with, it doesn't matter. Well, yeah, it does. Put your foot down. If they come back with, oh, sorry, I didn't realize. Yeah, no biggie. I'm going home. Thank you. But yeah, you got to stand up for yourself.
Hey, CW said, most of the males in my family have died around my age right now. You know what? I feel what you're saying here, but I'm going to say change your attitude and your perspective, because most of my family members on my mother's side of the family have all been diagnosed with one form of cancer or another before they were 40, to include my sister.
Really?
Everybody on my mother's side of the family has had one form of cancer or another before they were 40. I am 52. Maybe I'll find out Thursday I've got colon cancer. I don't know. But to date, I have not had a cancer diagnosis. I'm pretty groovy with that, man. I mean, Thursday might be sad face crying. I'm calling Jeff. Oh, bro, they're going to cut my butthole out, man. And I'm going to have to poop in a bag. And he's going to have to deal with that. And a whole lot of people are going to have to deal with that. And I'm going to have to make some life choices that are going to be very difficult for a lot of people. Not going to get into that, just saying. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Perspective. You don't have cancer yet, do you? Man, maybe you can make some life changes. I don't know.
Yeah.
Cut sugar out of your life. I know that there's a factor there. There's proven studies that say cancer loves sugar.
Oh, I learned something this week. A couple things, actually. I had my DOT physical this week.
Oh, yeah.
I got the beaties. And someone else asked me, my A1C was 8.2 on this one.
Yep.
So I learned a couple things because my doctor just went to his recertification like last week. And one of the things is, so the standard for diabetics is 8.0 is where they want you. They want you below that if you're a diabetic. They don't give you the 3-month ticket unless you're above 8.5, at which point you got a couple of months to get down below 8. So I was at an 8.2, so I was still within that range where it's acceptable for a 1-year card. The other thing I learned, and I didn't know this. Did you know, Charlie, that you can be on insulin and still keep your card?
I did not know that. I thought it was a waiver type thing, and then you corrected me.
He said in 2018 they changed the ruling, the guidance on it, and you can be on insulin and drive truck. But you have to do it kind of like the guys with sleep apnea. You have to have a rolling 3-month data of what your blood sugars are while you're on the insulin for your doctor to look at any time. That's the caveat. So a little bit more of a pain in the butt factor, but for those of you that are wildly out of control, which is really easy to do, by the way, there is hope if you end up on insulin. Just know that.
I'm going to come back to you, Mark. CW said, my family, it's heart failure. As soon as I hit 40, my blood pressure went sky high. I've been on med since. Is there a congenital heart issue? Is there something else that's factoring in that? Is there something you could do with your diet? What do you do with your diet? I don't know.
Yeah, when I got diagnosed with diabetes, I started reading books and looking at studies and trying to figure it all out. Problem with that, Charlie, is that yes, 10 different doctors, read 10
Right.
different books, you get 10
Right.
different pieces of advice.
Absolutely. But
And what
if you try some of those things, eventually maybe you find the one that works for you, because not everybody can do the keto thing and lose weight. I've seen people that are like miserable, can't lose a pound on keto, which blows my mind. I'm like, Jesus, I went from 300 pounds down to 170 pounds just changing the way I ate by going keto. I got scared. I didn't want to be one of these guys out there huffing and puffing and oh my God. And, my knees, my hips, my back, my neck, my back. I sidetracked myself, squirrel. I'm just saying, I made a decision and I didn't want to be one of those guys. And I was really getting afraid of the beaties and things like that, even though I couldn't even tell you what my A1C was. But, so I cut sugar out and I went high fat and I'm pretty comfortable with myself right now.
yeah, what I ended up doing was experimenting on myself, basically. Trying different things.
Oh.
And
Were you naked?
I figured out what I could and could not eat, which, as a diabetic, there's a lot you can't eat. So I do fall off the wagon quite often. I love pizza. Anyway, yeah, but I know at this point what I can and cannot eat to keep my blood sugar under control.
Right. Oh, CW, tried all that life change stuff, didn't help, just gave up and lived my life, and it's the same. So look, I mean, that's a
My
decision.
parents did that. They're in their late 70s.
My thought going into cancer, if I were to get a cancer diagnosis, depending on the type of cancer, of course, if it's one of those where they say, oh, you're going to need to be on chemo for the next 6 months or a year, I have an opinion about that. And I've seen people that died horrible, miserable, melting lives because of chemo. And I've seen people that have had chemo and come out of the back end hunky-dory, never got cancer again. But I've seen the horrible deaths that have happened for some people with chemo, and their quality of life over that last year was horrible. So I've got a decision to make, or I'd rather them just cut out whatever it is and hope. Rosie knows. Rosie knows. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
My wife's uncle got the prostate cancer, and he watched his dad die of cancer, and that's the choice he made. He lived his last, I'd say, 6 months just with his wife and kids, and
right,
and then he was gone.
Rosie knows that she has to go to every doctor's appointment with me, because I've told her flat out, I mean, openly told her, if you're not there when they give me a cancer diagnosis, I'm going to tell you right now, you won't know about it unless I choose to carve whatever it was out, because I'm not willing to do the chemo thing. That's my choice. And, people call me stupid, whatever. That's fine. It's my choice to make. I just had some people really close to me die horrible deaths. I want to go back real quick because there were some things I want to talk about here, and I know we're running late, so I got to do this real quick. Letif, how can I bring the camera out of my truck? I have many problems for following distance, but I don't have any control over the stupid people on the road, especially with people in Atlanta. They are trying to take money from truckers. So you absolutely do. Hit the brakes sooner, drive slower, give them more space. As soon as you get those points down, get rid of that damn camera. There's a couple more. I'm sorry, we're on our 2-hour mark, and we really got to bounce on this because Jeff and I actually have a meeting right after this. I think that was the ones the important ones I really wanted to hit. If I missed anything, you guys go down below as soon as we end this and drop your question back in there. We will get back to you. I promise that. Please drop your questions down there. We will get back to you as soon as we can. Thank you guys once again. Jeff, you got anything you want to throw out one more time? One more again?
Nope. Just, work on your mindset, guys. That's something I've been working on recently here. And there's a lot of freedom when you realize that you have choice. One of the things real quick that it's in a lot of the books and stuff that I like to read. If you're the problem, you're also the solution. Be the solution. Think about what you're doing. And 9 times out of 10, it really does turn out that in my life, I'm the problem. Well, the cool thing about that, I can fix me. I can't fix Charley. Charley's
Right.
Charley.
Yeah,
I
that's
could fix me.
true.
I could fix me. So just give us some thought. Squirrels.
Yeah, text messages, sorry, that came in during the show. Yeah. So thank you guys for being here. Thank you for listening to me go off on my rant today, and expect to see me be a little more blunt and open about some things, because I don't want to rot inside. I don't like it. And that's what I felt like I've been doing for the last couple months, and I don't want to do that anymore. And so, yeah, don't be surprised if I tell you to stop being stupid. Don't whine about it. If you can change it, then change it. If you can change it and you don't call me back and cry about it, because you're not going to like the conversation. Not trying to chase anyone away. I'm just saying, if you're calling me, you're looking for a solution. If you're calling Jeff, you're looking for a solution. When we give you a solution, don't be like, oh, I don't want to do that. Well, okay, then call somebody else. Right? So on that, thank you, people, for tuning in to this wonderful cheery bit at the end.
Yes.
Yeah. If you got comments, questions we didn't get to, please hit them down at the bottom, and we will get to those. Like I said, you guys be safe, take care of each other. Nobody's out here looking after us but us. That's Jeff. I'm Charlie. This is Contractor's Corner. We will see you next Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, just like every week. We'll see you soon. Be safe.